Hi guys, welcome to today's tutorial. In today's lesson, you're going to learn how to install Blender, and this is part one of so many other series of Blender. Let's get started. How do we get Blender? The first thing we need to do is we need to install Blender. So how do we get Blender? For this case, I've used my browser, which is Google Chrome, and for you to be able to install Blender, you're going to go to blender.org. So blender.org. Then I'm gonna hit enter. That is actually the official website. So the current version of Blender that is available is the 2.93.4. And in this tutorial, you're actually going to be downloading Blender for Windows. For the other programs in another lesson. So let's start with just downloading it and installing it on Windows 10. Okay, the first thing you do is you click on download Blender. So I'm going to click on download Blender. You can actually read a lot of information in this web page. So we have an option here called download Blender, which is the current version, which is the 2.93.4, and this is a Windows installer. So if you have a Mac or you have a Linux, you can actually come down here, select the drop down, and select whatever operating system that you have. So the first thing you need to do is you need to look at there are actually so many information here. I can just go straight to download Blender, but what I want to do is I want to look at the system requirements first and see if my PC actually can handle this amazing software. So I'm going to click on the requirements to just look at what requirements you need to have for you to run Blender efficiently. So you can actually read that by just clicking on the requirements, and you can see the hardware requirements, the recommendations, the optimal environment that actually Blender works in, the supported graphics options, where it runs and all that. So I'm actually going to read this first and be comfortable with it, and actually my PC supports this software. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to downloads. Then I'm now going to click on download Blender. And it will tell me you are breathtaking, and it will give me a download dialog box. So I'm going to download it, and I'm going to download it in my program files. So I'm going to click on start download, and since this is 182 MB, it is going to take a little bit of a while, around 5 minutes, depending on your internet connectivity. I'm actually going to fast forward this video so that we go to the installation step. Our download has finished, so let's go to the installation stage. I'm going to click on open folder so that I can access where I've actually downloaded my Blender 2.93.4 Windows. So I'm going to right click on the installation and click on install to start the installation process. And actually the installation process is pretty simple, so I'm going to click on install. Then the installation wizard appears. So I'm going to click on next. Then I'm going to accept the terms of the license agreement. You can actually, if you have time, you can actually read through. But I'm going to click on next. Then I'm going to also click on next. You can actually look through Blender libraries. So I'm going to actually install everything the way it is by default. I'm going to click on next. Then I'm going to click on install. And then I wait for my installation process to start. So to complete the installation, I'm going to click on finish. And the installation is pretty much straightforward. It has finished. So I'm going to look at my desktop to see if I have a shortcut of Blender on my computer. So this is actually the shortcut of Blender. So I just need to open Blender and see if everything went well. So I'm going to right click on Blender and click on open to open Blender for the first time on my computer. And this is the interface of Blender on your computer. So what I can do is I can just go to click on general, and you can actually see now Blender is successfully installed on my computer. So in subsequent lessons, we're actually going to be looking at the interface of Blender and a few icons that are very useful in Blender, like for example, the move. So we're actually going to be looking at these in the next lesson, and I can see things are actually pretty okay. So Blender is working fine, and we can actually start doing our work using Blender. So that is it for today's exercise. If you found this video useful and you want to learn more on Blender, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Otherwise, I'm just happy you're here. See you in my next video.